Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
I think it's different times of the morning for three of us, and I think it might be afternoon, right? For Mabel, for Yolancris.
Hello, yes, I'm with Yolanda here.
Hello.
Now this is, it's time for siesta right now here in Spain.
Ah,
It's a little bit late.
It's a little bit late. It's shiny, it's great, and we have a lot of interesting things to talk about.
amazing. Well, I'm really excited to be with you. Laerke, I've met you in Peru last year, but I've obviously very familiar with all of your brands. Farai, we were introduced yesterday by Jordana, but I'm really excited to be on this panel. I know that it's been quite a week in the US and around the world, I think, with so much going on between coronavirus and a lot of social issues and our governments being a bit tone deaf. So thank you so much for joining today. I think it's really important to talk about our industry and what we can do to be more sustainable, to be more inclusive. And I think all of you, the four of you, are really working to make fashion a better industry, right? Which I think all of us, I think a lot of the message this week has been to, listen, learn, and see how we can be better people, right? In the end, and run better companies. So thank you all.
Okay.
I'll start off with I think maybe an introduction from each of you would be great for the audience, just to know. Marcia, Marcia, we can start with you. I think you're in Sao Paulo, right?
I'm based in Rio.
In Rio.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Marcia Kemp. I'm a Nannacay founder. Nannacay means sisterhood in Quechua, and we work with artisans in South America, Brazil, Peru, and Ecuador. Thank you, Karla.
Yolanda, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Yolanda Pérez. I'm the founder and director creator of Yolancris. And I'm still here to answer a lot of questions.
You're in Barcelona, no?
Yes.
Okay.
We are from Barcelona, Spain.
Great. Farai?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm actually based in New York City, so it's morning for us here. But my name is Farai Simoyi, and I'm the founder of The Narativ. The Narativ is a retail concept store and design company that focuses on helping African and Black-owned entrepreneurs exceed and succeed in the US market.
Thank you. Laerke?
Hello, everyone. I'm Laerke. I'm Danish of origin, but I often say Peruvian of heart. I'm right now based in Lima, where I've been living for the past, many years. I don't have to mention how long. My company and my brand is called AYNI. I founded it together with my Peruvian business partner, Adriana, and we're focused on doing artisanal handcraft, contemporary design, but that we produce in Peru, made by Peruvian artisans, and also Peruvian materials at 100%. We also lead other initiatives as the cluster fair in the industry and a lot of social impact programs, but I'll tell you more about that. Thank you.
So we have a really great panel of all different entrepreneurial women, which I think is really amazing. So Marcia, we'll start with you. You found Nannacay in 2014, inspired in your volunteer work at the NGO Child's Institute based in Rio. You left your corporate job at IBM in 2015 and launched Nannacay in 2016. Starting with 13 families in Peru and nowadays carrying 300 families of artisans in Brazil, Peru, and Ecuador. How much have you impacted their lives, and how have you seen the effect on their lives in the past couple of years since you started?
Yeah, good questions, and thank you, Karla, for asking these. Last year, we designed a project where we map our artisans, names, surnames. We map what was happening in their lives before Nannacay entered in their lives, because and did a lot of interviews. We got a lot of testimonials to see what was happening in their lives during and working with Nannacay. So we measure their quality of life, self-esteem, purchasing power, family education, health and community relations. We have nowadays 80% of women and 20% of men working with us in several regions in Peru, Ecuador, and Brazil. We even provide social inclusion. So we work also with inmates in Peru. Their average, they are about 40 and 49 years old, which means that they have difficulty to get to work in the market. So it's very hard for them. So they rely on our jobs, working with them. And when I ask it to them after any production, what kind of value we provide to you working with you, and they will reply immediately in different language to me, Marcia, Nannacay provides jobs. So Nannacay is about giving a job to an artisan that lives in a vulnerable region, in a scattered region, in the places that we work. My main question to this assessment, to the third part who assessed our networking, was like, give me update about the children. How are the children in our network? And 100% of the children that rely on the parents that work with us are studying nowadays, and they can afford books to these children. So the children are not working in the farms anymore, doing slave work. They are working with, they are just at home study, and their parents have the hope to send them to the university. So we impact nowadays 1,000 lives indirectly. And nowadays, when you think about buying a product on account, just think about that they will have an access food. It's about feeding someone properly. I have some testimonials from the highlands that they told us that now they can buy food like fruits and chicken. This is Nannacay, Karla, in overall solution.
Thank you so much. Farai, tell us a little bit more about the Narativ Retail Concept Store and how you came up with this idea, and how was it faced with obviously, like all businesses, we often face difficulties and resistance from the market. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Zimbabwe, and for me, the concept of ethical and sustainable and organic, when I learned about it here in the US, I was so surprised that this was actually an open market, because where I come from, ethical, sustainability, organic, that's just the way of life. We use natural resources, we grow our own vegetables, we grow our own food, and after you've eaten, you use like the hide of the cow, whatever, to make a bag or to make a skirt or whatever. So for me, when I realized that people here in the US were looking for that and there was a market, that's sort of what sparked my interest to start the Narativ. And really, when we first started, the focus is still working with artisans and designers that are on the continent, because a lot of times it's hard for us to be given opportunities in the US. And I kind of felt like there was an opening. Nobody here was doing that, or even providing them a physical space that they could call home. So in 2017, we opened the Narativ with just a few brands, and literally the amount of brands that we've been getting into the store has been very organic, because everybody just wants a place to belong. And here we work with brands from Zimbabwe, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Tanzania. And it's so amazing to see all of the work that they're doing. And it's all natural fibers. So it's like a lot of our sisal bags are made from the leaves and grass. A lot of our jewelry is made out of brass. And we also use cow horn and a lot of like accessories and details. And so that's sort of how we built our company. And sort of jumping off of what Marcia was saying, it's providing jobs, it's providing opportunities. A lot of these people, the work that they do has been passed down to generations. And so for us, we're allowing the generational work to continue within their families, and then also just providing them opportunities to, you know, educate their families, educate themselves. And one thing about where I come from is, especially on the continent, we don't want handouts all the time. We don't want donations. We just want opportunities. And that's really what the basis of the narrative is about.
Thank you so much. Laerke, AYNI is also a Peruvian brand that's 100% made in Peru with Peruvian materials and materia prima. How did you conceive the brand, and why was it so important for you to work with local artisans as well?
Yes, I can totally relate to the stories I've heard already. Our brand and the concept of our brand really came together due to my business partner Adriana and I's mutual belief that ethics and aesthetics can join hands. And we had this great desire to be able to combine our passion and our love for fashion also with like a deeper sense of purpose. So when we met, when I came to Peru a long time ago, 2002, I came to Peru the very first time. We started playing around with ideas, and most importantly, I think we realized that even coming from very difficult and different cultural backgrounds and having lived a different life, we had so many values in common, and we had so much that we could share and ways that we could find mutual benefit. So we had the chance to study and analyze the market also. And I must say, coming and being Danish of origin has also been a big impact for me. When I came to Peru, it's no secret that I am very inspired and very fascinated and drawn to the Peruvian culture, the very rich, powerful, colorful culture, and the contrasts, both for better and for worse, because that's where I find opportunities and the limitations as well. And one of our trips, we got to travel a lot, Adriana and I, and in one of our trips, we went to a little island called Amantani in the southern Andes of Peru, where we met a beautiful community called Colquicachi. And they really taught us the significance of the Andean and Quechua word AYNI. That is Quechua, and it means today for you, tomorrow for me, and illuminates this philosophy of reciprocity and mutual benefit. And that's where this idea of putting a business model together suddenly made sense. And instead of looking at the people, the community that in many people's eyes live as if they were reluctant or even like far behind in many ways, having no access to the surrounding civilization or community, or even having access to electricity or communication. In our eyes, I think what we realized is in many ways they're much more advanced. The idea of reciprocity and not measuring what you give and get back in return was something we thought was very progressive and something we could learn from. And I think we based our concept on that belief that everything has to be mutually benefit and everybody involved in a value chain has to be part of it. And now we've grown, we've learned. We now also sustain approximately 300 families or 300 artisans that impact directly in 1,000 people around Peru in different areas and districts, both in the different regions, in Lima, around in the north, in the south, and where they also dedicate themselves to different handcraft. So I think it really came together because of the beauty of diversity. And that's where culture, I think, is so important. And it really like enriches, and also our different cultural background has enriched the concept that came together. So now today, we also created, and the way that we give back is not only, like you also mentioned, creating job opportunities, protecting cultural heritage, also like you also mentioned, Farai, lots of them, they learn from passing the knowledge down generation through generation. We also realized that in order for us to be a sustainable business, a circular business model, which is like an integrated part of our DNA of the brand, it's something that comes natural, but it also has to be economically sustainable in order for us to be able to scale and to be able to commit. It's a huge responsibility to work with a lot of people and artisans that might have less resources. So for us, it was very important to be able to somewhat also give back, not only creating job opportunities where they're able to work from home and take care of their families and other necessities at the same time. So we created a certification center. In 2011, 2012, we became the first certification center authorized by the Peruvian Ministry of Employment. And we've now certified more than 2,000 individuals on a national basis. And it's a way for us to give them an official recognition of the labor work and also add value and promote handcraft and art that we believe is not only inspiring, but it's something that also through fashion we can somewhat preserve history and ancient knitting techniques that are fascinating, and in Peru specifically and in many of the Latin American countries stand out as something very unique and interesting that we believe the rest of the world should know about. So we also that way with the certification center are able to give back and to learn mutually, because this is not only us training and learning, we really learn from all the people around us. We don't call them workers, we really call them family, because it's not just about knowing where our products are made or who made them. We actually know every single one with their name, their children, their grandchildren, what they do, and we visit them and we see them on a daily basis, because here in Peru, we have the opportunity to have contact to everybody. They come into our office, we go out to the workshops where they live and where they work. And it's just like you say, Farai, it's for us, it's a natural structure to work that way. And in Peru, it's also a huge benefit and also privilege to be able to have a whole value chain where we have access to fantastic exclusive primary material and everything throughout the value chain. So that brought us to where we are today, and now also creating other initiatives such as a cluster for the industry, the Peruvian Fashion Council, to be able to also promote and form new human talent in the future and try to give back that way.
Thank you. Yolanda, tell us a little bit about Yolancris. I know that you sell in Mexico also, which is great, and you are a Spanish-based brand. As everyone knows, the bridal industry is kind of run by these huge companies, right? How did you start your line in 2005 and keep everything so local like you did, but able to expand into other markets?
Okay, we start with my mom because he was an employer for a big company, and that company broken, and all the employers go outside, and she decided to start with a new brand, and in 2005.
Sí, 2005.
2005. We started together with my sister, starting with a new line of understanding the bridal, because we are the pioneers of Vogue style. And because when I started, I was 25 years old, and my style was hippie, hippie clothes. And I put inside this kind of style inside the bridal, and everything is that. But our concept usually is mixed. The really hands, the really jobs with the hands inside the fabrics. We don't use the sketch for the beginning, and we do all like on the past, like 100 years ago, like I don't know, maybe Balenciaga and something like that. All by hand, but really by hand. We don't do the collections, and then we started to do a stock. All we do is by measures, por encargos. How do you say?
Yeah, it's by order.
By order. So we work because the customers ask for this kind of clothes. We don't produce extra produce to then I sell. No, it's by telephone, by order, it's like that. So our collection are so bigger. And I think our concept and the biggest thing that I have always in my mind and inside my head is teach the young people do the job like that, in that direction. Because sometimes I feel that there are very creative people that doesn't have money to pay a design university, for example, but they have very good ideas inside. So we now in Yolancris, we are teaching this kind of young people to put it inside that way. And they do magical things. It's an opportunity for the young people that don't have some money.
Exactly. And just to learn kind of the younger generations to really kind of grow up, as all of you were saying, with the importance of artisan hands, right? I think, you know, when I was younger, I used to go to Mexico, to my mom's town, which is tiny. And I never realized the value of like them making tortillas, you know, from scratch. And then, you know, I used to say, oh, can't we just buy the ones in the package, because I was dumb. And, you know, and then, you know, you grow up and 15 years later, you want to go back to that. Right. And, and I feel like that's something that's important to all of us. Marcia, tell us a little bit about how you find your artisans and what that process is like and how you fuse it with innovation.
Yes. So Nannacay is a brand with no frontiers. So, and it has clear mission. So I'm always searching for innovation, new techniques, materials. I work side by side to the artisan. This is why it becomes so different. I'm always searching for new groups as well. The group search for me. And a group starts with 2-3 people, because when you start producing, others will come. And as everybody mentioned here, this is why we are preserving cultures. This is why, because I think that preserving artisanal products, we are preserving the heritage of the world, a luxury, because each product is full of feelings. You know, when someone is weaving, like Laerke said, at their home, they are putting their energy, and the product is amazing. This is why it's so lovely, I think. So we started working with South America, and nowadays there are many artisans looking for us from Africa, from Indochina, from India. I wish I could embrace them all, but we are a family business, so I can't nowadays, but I would like to embrace as much as I can. And it takes money and a lot of investment, because to build a group, it takes at least 6 months, you know, to work with them, to understand their technique, to see who is going to be the leader of this group, that we are going to provide also financial and developing skills. So he's going to be the leader, or she's going to be the leader of this group. So we try to make this group an entrepreneur. This person will be the entrepreneur of the group. And innovation, yes, is part of DNA. Completely in my answer for you, because we start producing different baskets from different kind of straws and pom-poms. And then I started embracing new groups. So nowadays we do macrame, we do crochet, and we are starting now, we just shift our new launch collection, which will bring embroideries as well, sustainable sequins and recycled fabrics. So doing this, we are embracing new groups from Rio de Janeiro, that lives in communities around our city. So we are non-stop. We don't want to stop. We don't want to stop, Karla. Non-stoppable company.
Farai, tell us a little bit about, you know, in the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of luxury brands being accused of cultural appropriation, and, you know, they want to work with artisans, but they don't know how to. And so it often kind of gets lost, and they kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of take credit for the work of the artisan. How do you think we can combat this problem? And do you think there is a way for the brands to work together? I mean, we've seen, you know, a brand like Louis Vuitton do a wonderful project here in Oaxaca with artisans this year. Tell us what you think about how you can also help brands find great artisans.
Yeah, I honestly never understood why cultural appropriation, why do brands do this? And for me, in my research and just trying to understand and sort of play devil's advocate, I've just sort of realized it's a lack of education within the infrastructure of that company. Because if you employ or bring people into your corporate infrastructures that are from all over the world, global, and I'm not just saying Black or African, talking Peruvian, Mexico, you know, anywhere in the world, I just feel like there just needs to be more diversity on a team so that they understand before they put a product out, let's show this entire product to the whole team and say, yes, no, is this something that should be put onto the shelves? Because for me, I'm just baffled that to this day, we're still having like blackface with lips put on sweatshirts and being sold in stores, you know, for $500. And then on top of it, that there's actually a consumer that is buying it. You know, and the great thing about social media is that I think more people now are calling out these brands. And I think we're just trying to figure out why is this happening? And so that's where the whole conversation of diversity comes in. And I also think it's educating from a university perspective as well, because there was also controversy that came out at FIT where a student was forced to put like a mask on down the runway that sort of revealed blackface. Again, these things need to be taught at an educational institution and then brought into corporate spaces. So what I implore these corporate companies to do is to make room at the table, open up space, bring people in. Maybe if you don't have the ability to hire people, then create groups, you know, survey groups that you can like throw ideas at and just see what they say. Because I think what's happening is that there's a gap, there's not a connection. It's very easy for these brands to reach out to a brand and say, hey, we would love to work with you. I mean, people send DMs, people send emails all the time. So I just think it's a problem that needs to be handled and the solution is diversity and bringing these brands on. Because also another thing with cultural appropriation that we're seeing is these corporate companies are actually looking to these global brands and these younger brands, and not just cultural appropriation, but they're also taking ideas from these brands. So if you have the ability to take an idea, you also have the ability to email and collaborate on the idea. So I think it's just breaking down the wall, breaking down the barriers and just stepping in and creating more space at these institutions and these companies. So I really am in a space right now where I would like to start challenging a lot of these corporate companies to do that. And, you know, while they're doing that, also sharing the story. And, you know, we learned in school, you have to, you know, source where you got that idea, or when you're writing a paper, you source where you got that quote from. It's very, very simple. So I think it's going to take work, but I think it can be done. So, and I'm here to make sure that it happens. Thank you.
Laerke, I think oftentimes in Peru and in a lot of Latin American countries, ourselves, we always say like, oh, that's too expensive. It's made in Peru. You know, it shouldn't be $500. How have you educated your consumer to understand that what you're doing has value and it's unique, and how do you? I know sometimes we think of slow fashion or sustainable fashion as being more expensive, which it is because, you know, it's not being mass produced. So how do you kind of educate the consumer to understand that what they're buying has been made by an artisan, etc.?
Yes, thank you, Karla, for the interesting and very relevant question. I think from our perspective, maybe it's important to mention that AYNI was always thought as an international brand, or as a brand providing products and more than products, maybe connecting people and creating experiences for the world. So I think it's still an ongoing process for us of educating, communicating the local community and the local consumers in Peru. The consumers in Peru and the market in Peru is still maturing. So over the years, and AYNI has existed for around and a little more than 10 years now, we've been very focused on being able to bring AYNI and bring Peruvian-made products and Peruvian design, of course, with the combination of our origin to the world. And the way we do it is to communicate honest luxury. For us, it's important, the most, I think, tangible and added value and differentiation factor for us is the storytelling. Apart from having this probably like a good balance between trendy and timeless design with both the minimal Danish background and also the Peruvian colorful knitting techniques and traditions. But I think most importantly for us is the storytelling. It's being able to validate and give transparency and traceability of the whole value chain, being able to connect, explain why, not only who made my clothes and what it was made from, but why is it relevant to also charge the certain amount of money that this garment will cost. It will also last you a lifetime. It's high-end quality, and most importantly, it tells a story of the people who dedicated hours and hours to create this beautiful garment that is not only a piece of clothing, it's a statement, it's a piece of art. And I think for us, I believe that fashion and also the way of dressing, it's an opportunity to express yourself. It's somewhat reflects who we are. So it's also our chance to be able to kind of wear our values. And I think that's what we would like our consumers to understand, that by purchasing the kind of products that we offer, you take a statement, you take a point, and you try to become part of a movement. For us, AYNI is honestly more than just a brand. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice that you make, and it's something you incorporate in your entire universe. So I hope we try to go beyond that, and we do a lot of tailor-made storytelling to make, because we have a lot of things to tell that are very different, not only where it comes from, what it's made of, and who did it, but also a lot of the tradition, the history behind. But I also agree with you that it's a challenge, and we also want to make sustainable products and fashion more democratic and more accessible. And I also do believe now that we're talking about slow fashion, that it's something that has to change. And it's something we need to educate about, that we shouldn't prepare products. And Yolanda, you were also telling me on mentioning that it's important not to not only overproduce and overstock the world with garments that we won't need or will end up in landfills or otherwhere where it has no place. But it's important for us to not produce something that is already meant to go down in discount, but something that is democratic. So we explain why it has the value and the cost that it has, and then be completely honest and transparent about it. It's what it is, but then it will also already become better prices and more accessible, more democratic as well. So that's something that we work with on a daily basis, and it'll take time. I hope this last month will also help, and I think it has already impacted. We can already see that our local market, the Peruvians, are also responding very well to this. I think we're all learning that even though we have to think globally, we have to act locally. So that's something that is, I think, hopefully will become more relevant and more custom in the future from now.
Thank you. Yolanda, lastly, I know we don't have too much time, but you guys have really been doing a lot of social work in Spain during the crisis. How did this come about, and why do you think it's so important at this time?
I'm okay. I started to do special clothes for the hospital because the government asked me if I prepared to do that kind of clothes. I must to tell you that it's not all my team is not now working with me, because in the middle, the half are in desempleo, how do you say?
Oh, well,
Sorry for my English.
Don't
No,
worry,
It's,
worry.
you
it's
know,
fatal.
you know, we can handle the whole team, because the whole family to wear, because the atelier is not
My
just
atelier
offering
is not
for-
working now doing bridal dresses because all the bridal are postposed for the
Postponed,
next
yeah.
month. So we decided to do that kind of help, offering our machine, our hands to do that. Of course, they pay a little part because we must to live. But we are doing more or less about 100,000
100,000. Yeah.
100,000 of that kind of special clothes for the medical. It's very hard to do that because I produce that, but other ateliers. So I pay muy poco. You understand me? Muy poco for
Sí,
that
I
kind
think you
of
can say in
clothes.
Spanish.
And
I'm sure there's a lot of, yo creo hay mucha gente que entiende.
Oyentes, ¿no?
Mm.
Vale, me haces un favor muy grande.
Sí.
Mira, no estoy feliz de haber pagado a veces tan poco por un trabajo, pero era un momento en el que se tenía que hacer. Y ha habido gente que ha cobrado más, ha habido gente que ha cobrado menos. Pero era un momento en que, bueno, me demandaban esto y yo tenía que hacer. Todavía estoy haciendo esto, lo he empezado también a hacer por mi parte, incluso mascarillas especiales y demás por demanda. Bueno, es una vía de negocio, pero quizás muchas empresas textiles, desde las que fabricamos hasta el textil, han podido sobrevivir por esto. Y espero que no, espero equivocarme y aquí en España que no haya un repunte muy grande en febrero, pero es posible que sí. Entonces el hospital se está abasteciendo de este producto. De igual manera espero que todo haya cambiado tanto y nos hayamos juntado todos tanto que realmente sí que las marcas sean democráticas,
Sí.
que las puertas de las marcas se abran y que realmente gente externa, a modo de cooperación, te envíen un sketch, les lances una pregunta y que las marcas se vuelvan realmente sociales. A mí
Exacto.
es una de las cosas que realmente me harían mucha ilusión y creo que sería un retorno para todo el mundo. Más allá, por eso a veces cuando me preguntan, what about your new collection? Como yo trabajo en equipo, yo sola no hago nada.
Sí.
Por lo tanto, a la hora de una propuesta, un diseñador solo, por bueno que sea, es su único criterio en el mundo. Y el mundo es tan global ahora en día que necesitas el qué quiere la gente para tú poderlo dar. No es tú qué quiero yo como diseñador, yo propongo y hago que lo pongan, porque tengo una super campaña detrás y tal. Yo creo que esto se ha roto y que ahora es todo social.
Sí, exacto.